just a little uncomfortable with this idea of show road, show what do we say? Show what? Show
Show mode.
mode. Show mode.
No, show mode.
Instead of slow mode, slew mode, sloth mode.
Hey,
Sloth
sloth mode
mode
is
sound-
very valid.
Yes. I mean, hanging around, taking time to, just kind of veg nap.
I'm all for it.
And if you need something, you just look at a certain way and squeak. Yeah. What they do, they say, meh.
Oh, you just want to be a cat. I see how it is.
No, that's what sloths sound like. Meh.
Really?
Yes.
That sounds annoying.
They don't do it very often because they're lazy. It takes energy.
I just think there are so many things wrong with you people.
That's why you like us.
Uh-huh. That's why I like you indeed.
To quote the movie, what do you mean, you people?
Not a great movie, but that is a great scene.
Whoa, buddy, that was an awesome movie.
It was demented. Even for me, it was demented. I have to admit I laughed through most of it and was horrified by the rest of it.
But you see, you laughed all the way through the thing, and then you say it's not a great movie? Oh, well, I beg to differ. If you laughed all the way through it, it was a great movie.
Oh, God.
What movie is this? Because I totally missed the
Tropic
reference.
Thunder.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. No, haven't seen it.
Oh, God. There's a couple scenes in there. There's one where the director says something and he goes off to go do whatever he's going to do. And then he hits a landmine.
Oops.
There's just something there's something about that movie where they intentionally did that as a comedic point and then mocked themselves, all having the other characters keep pointing it out. And I thought it was, even the co-stars were defending Robert Downey Jr. for that role. And I think I think for comedy, in the way they did it, that was valid because they weren't trying to replace someone. They were mocking the entire process.
Yeah, they were mocking the whole thing.
I thought that was okay.
Yeah, but there were so many things in that movie that were just so damn funny and so non-PC. I just don't even know how that plays today. Just kind of scary. I don't know.
There are a lot of movies that even 10 years ago, watching going, oh, that's, why did I like that? That's just like, that's gross and demeaning. Why did I like that?
I'm guessing that the Adventures of Ford Fairlane is.
Yeah, I think that one may be beyond the pale at this point. Kind of like Sam Kinison. I'm not really
It was
sure.
beyond the pale when I watched it when it came out. It was
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It may not be redeemable under any circumstances without serious amounts of psychoactive substances.
Anything that has Andrew Dice Clay in it is obviously wrong on every level.
Well, from the old days, now he's daddy. He kind of quit everything to become a dad and took care of his kids, and that's why he disappeared. He pulled a Rick Moranis. Why are you shaking your head, V?
That word may need a moratorium. There's just, I can't.
What word?
Daddy.
Oh, daddy?
Yeah. The problem with narrating romance.
Oh, God.
The problem with being in romance threads. The problem with social media in general. I cannot. And I have narrated those books. And they sell. Not for me, thank you.
My apologies.
And you didn't know? That's me and my challenges.
It's just not my wheelhouse. My ignorance. James is going at it in chat over here. He also said there, the best example of why evolution of the fittest doesn't mean fast strongest. I don't know what it was in reference to, but I love it.
This is the part where I have to tell myself, don't take the bait and don't try to one-up people and don't try to cause problems. Kind of like, use your superpowers for good, not evil, and by using them for good, don't use them at all. That.
I'm going to say nothing except howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Robot Society. I am Paul E. Cooley. Joining me, Veronica Jaguar and Mr. Terry Mixon. How the hell are you people? That's right, I said you people.
Good.
Good?
I'm here. Chad is having fun already, so, you know.
Yeah, they're
they're
active today. They're active today.
Mm-hmm.
They were asleep last week. They're very awake today. That's never a good thing. All right, let's get our small talk over. We have a lot of things to talk about today.
Oh boy,
what is
we're
this
being rushed into
agenda?
this. Oh man,
You got me under pressure. Sorry, ZZ Top. Anyway, V, what's going on, man? What's going on, man? What's going on, ma'am?
Chat. I'm about to just post something that's like, you want to hear all that? I got a title for you. Go pay for it. Yeah, you want it? I will throw that link in After Dark, because superpowers for good. Superpowers for good. Superpowers for good. Anyway,
That's bad, Rick. Rick, you're fired.
oh my gosh.
Soft
No!
romance would definitely be a slow burn. That's terrible.
And the sad thing is, I bet it's out there.
Oh, come on.
I
You haven't narrated it yet, a were-possum? Or were-sloth?
no.
We need were-sloths. Terry, write that. You have nothing else to do.
I've got nothing else going on.
I'm sure it could show up in someone. It'll show up in someone's D&D campaign. There's a weresloth somewhere. Sure.
A were-sloth. I want to know about this. Chat, you have a job. You have access to a web browser. Find me a
That's
were-sloth.
That's right.
Throw that shit in
y'all
live.
find Weresloths. Wrapped up narrating the second book with dragons, and my Welsh accent is better. Unfortunately, it's one of those accents that I can only do when I'm actually reading text, so I'm not good at it enough to just like pull it out of my back pocket. I cannot.
James Terrell says sloths, the ultimate edgers.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, continue, V.
Anyway, so yeah, I've got to wrap up the last book. I've got 3 from the same author, so I'm doing them one after the other and sending them to the engineering team I use. So yeah, lots of dragons, and then kept working on my own stuff. Got more words on both projects. So actually, one of the narrator communities has a writing morning, so I work better on appointments.
Gotcha.
Showed up
Yeah, you talked
for
about that, I
2
think,
hours.
last week.
Yeah, but I did it. But I did it again. That's the other thing. It was not a one-time thing.
No?
So yeah. Other than that, and that's really it. We're halfway through the summer. You
Robbie
know,
says Snow White and the 7 Daddy Sloths.
clearly,
Oh, wow.
y'all are just working on your own titles. I'm going to be so excited to see just what y'all put on Royal Road.
I can't wait for After Dark. I just cannot wait for After
Got some
Dark.
great ideas going there. So,
I would
Thank
love to
you, Terry.
see those titles pop up on Royal Road, just to see the comments of people commenting about the story, going, "Really? What? What am I seeing here?"
how did this show up? But Terry, please, before we go down that rabbit hole, what about you?
No renovation work has been done. Boo!
So-
on the plus side, nothing's broken, so they haven't ruined it any more than it was already. So I guess that's plus, right?
Yes, that's a plus.
Let's see, cat things. Little Latte is not pregnant. There was a miscarriage, or she just never was pregnant in the first place. So no Brew Crew.
Oh, well.
That's probably a good thing.
That's okay. She's got the 4 other kittens to watch over.
Yeah, no kidding.
And they're rambunctious. They'll now try to chew on her some. So they're in the process of going everywhere in the room when Donna lets them out in the bedroom. They have no fear. None.
Oh, good. Because that's what everybody wants. Toddlers with no fear.
Toddlers
She
with no
looks
fear.
around, and there's a kitten on top of something that's like 6 feet off the ground. No, get down from there. It's like, what?
Oh. Right, because they're such good listeners. And they get better at listening as they get older. Because, of course, cats.
Well, yeah.
When they're
Obviously,
that young, they're made
they
of
are
rubber.
the best behaved.
They're made of rubber at that age. You can basically dribble them on the ground. It's not really a problem. They fall from high places, they learn, or they don't. Ah, damn it.
But other than that, creative, I'm writing, I'm doing things. Things are going well. I have no complaints.
Well, that's good to hear. Let's see, what have I been doing? Working on the new book. Dove back in to start really editing Extinction and getting it ready for beta. Boy, howdy, is us taking some... There's some sentences I saw in there that I was just like, why in the fuck did I write this? And why didn't I catch this during last edit? What the hell was I doing? So I'm finding stuff to edit there and fix. I think basically mostly the first 20,000 words are pretty crunchy, but I got 141,000 more to go. So I've got a lot of time to edit and everything else with that. Recording has been a impossible disaster, so I've been lax on that, and I now have one more episode. No more episodes in the can actually for Oceania, so I'm up against the wall. I have 10 left to do. 10 chapters left to do, which would be 5 episodes, and I'm not getting it done. And I have to get it done before Friday. At least 2 to 4 of them. So we'll see. I'm up against the wall again. What is the new book? The new book is A Hunting Trip Goes Terribly Wrong in 1983. I'll leave it at that. Sloth porn. Sloth porn horror. Is there any other kind?
It's the only porn where it's better when you speed it up times 10.
I mean...
Can't really...
Clearly, this is going to be one of those days where chat is just abusing themselves. Like,
yeah, we're just here to facilitate chat's insanity. That's all we're here for at this point.
more or less.
No, I'm not writing Vice President Cheney's biography. This is 83. He didn't get shotgun happy till much later.
Well, that we know of.
Well, this is true. You didn't see what the actual comment. There it was, shitting my companions, a Dick Cheney biography. You know, I have often wondered exactly how that went down. Exactly what was said before,
Oops.
What was said after, and exactly how somebody's feelings were hurt. Was there an ultimatum involved? Did he take the cannoli? I mean, what's going on here? Oh, boy. Rowdy says, what I do in front of my computer is my own business. So long as I can't hear you fapping, it's not happening.
As long as the web camera's off, you're right.
It depends on how it's angled. Otherwise, you're just getting
Well,
facial expressions.
You know, that the angling thing didn't work out for Jeffrey Tobin, so I can't imagine why it would work out for Rooster either.
Camera? Oh, shit.
Window, curtains, screen door. I mean,
You were just sick and twisted, chat. We love you for it. So that's about what's all going on in my world besides cat and dog things, and they're boring, so I'll let those go aside. We're not here to talk about that anyway. We're here to talk about neighborhoods.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
And we're talking about writing neighborhoods or writing communities, as V put it in her note on the DRS the Evil Hosts channel, which you don't have access to.
I blame Xander.
You blame
Xander for the
Xander.
topic.
So essentially, this is DRS is more or less a writing community. We have been for a very, very long time, ever since long before even Terry was a host here. It was a writing community. A lot of authors trying to get published for the first time, a lot of authors trying to work on their first podcast novels. It's a lot of authors finally meeting one another and giving one another advice, looking over one another's works, and essentially just kind of forming relationships. And there's quite a few people who, probably met because of this show one way or another, and became really good friends out of it. So it's that's what I'd like to call a healthy community. We now use Discord for most of our community things rather than a website, which is fine, and it works really well. And everybody so far has behaved themselves for the most part. So it's not a toxic waste dump. I hope. If I'm wrong about that, you need to let me know. But it's been very, very low key and very cool, and I've loved that. I love that about it. There are larger writing communities out there, obviously. There are probably better communities out there. It wouldn't surprise me. But every server you go on to has different rules. Every community you go to has different rules. It's like moving, if you in real life move from one neighborhood to another, the HOA you're leaving behind may have been more aggressive than the previous one or vice versa. So there's guidelines, there's rules, there's all that good stuff that you kind of have to adhere to in order to be a good member of the community. And communities should have rules. They really should. If you want to be there, there's an agreement on what the acceptable behavior is, whatever that is, and basically putting that out there and go from there. But I would say that I have never joined a community without knowing the rules, and I rarely speak in those communities unless it's something I'm answering a question or whatever. I don't pontificate at term's length about how you should write or what you should write, etc. ad infinitum. I just don't do that garbage. So, but I've seen writing communities that are like that. And then you have to wonder exactly why you're there if these people are just screaming at their soapbox into the winds without really expecting any kind of challenge or etc. It's just kind of crazy. Does DRS have rules? When did that happen? Yes, the DRS Discord has rules.
Yep.
They're very
the rules
simple.
Are simple.
Writing community,
no
HOA.
politics, no trolling, no being an asshole. Although snarky is expected and welcome, especially if it's aimed at Paul and Terry.
Very simple rules.
Super simple.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
JR says HOAs are the devil. Not a fan of localizing tyranny. Next topic.
I mean,
Writing community HOA. Acceptable behavior. James stares at the chat.
sometimes the boundaries are stretchy. Yes. They are kind. Sometimes they're a little elastic. But
anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, I think one of the key things that the DRS community does, it comes back to writing. Like, sure, you can, hang out little bit of procrastination, a little bit of, brainstorming, asking about resources, but still, it's going to come back to writing. And sooner or later, someone's going to go, hey, how many words did you do? Are you working on that project? Hey, did you finish that chapter? Hey. And that's kind of what you want out of a writing community versus one that doesn't focus on writing.
Yeah.
Or that thinks that there is one singular way to do writing, or one singular way to publish a book. Because there's not.
Yeah, I don't like gods of any sort. They're all fallible, and they just, when they don't realize it, that's when you have a problem. Basically what it comes down to. Is clean Christian sloth porn acceptable?
We do not use the word clean because sex is not dirty. We use closed door. But sure, closed door Christian sloth porn is absolutely acceptable. We do not kink shame. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to write, go for it.
I'm afraid to say what I wanted to say. Anyway, sex is dirty if you're doing it right. JR?
For some people, yes.
Look, just because you don't bathe doesn't mean the rest of us don't, all right?
Awkward.
40 minutes until after dark, people, okay? 40 minutes.
I hadn't really thought about that. That is a possible jumping off point in there, yes.
Okay.
You guess shower sex should be clean sex. Antoine's jumped back in. I heard sloth porn. There's something wrong with you people. Have you ever been a part of a destructive community, V?
Oh, yeah. And some of them were, this is early on. I think not part of staying in a destructive community is not recognizing what is destructive. And I think that with experience, you start to realize what's constructive behavior and what's destructive behavior. And it's similar for the narrator community too. There are good communities and there are bad communities, or there are not helpful communities. And Rick, yeah, Facebook is just chock full of destructive writing communities. Absolutely. One of the things that happens in a lot of creative communities, so it could be writing, it could be narration, it could be art, crowdsourcing ideas or crowdsourcing critiques. And it's you get I have this paragraph, I have this first chapter, I'm going to put it out here and I need feedback. And sure, you can get feedback, but in a non-constructive community, you're not going to get constructive feedback. You're going to get hurtful, unhelpful, not even relevant feedback that may cause you to stop writing. And that's not helpful, because at the end of the day, that's not a community should be encouraging you to keep writing. And if your skills aren't where they should be, then they should be encouraging folks to get better and collaborate and learn, not drive people away.
Antoine says writing communities are so old I didn't think people still did it. What do you think DRS is?
Yeah. When you're doing a solitary creative endeavor, you absolutely need a community so you don't feel like you're just throwing words out into the void.
Let's see, Terry Irvin says a writing community should be selective of its members just as a writer seeking a community should be selective. Yeah, I basically try and run on the philosophy that you're innocent until proven guilty. So I don't tend to try and screen folks too much before they come in. If they fuck up, then they're out. It's very simple. We have very simple rules. Don't go against them. So I can't suspect you're an asshole, and people will lie about what their what their views are anyway. Yeah, not all feedback is good. That can mean well even, but if they are not your target audience, it doesn't always apply. This is true, JR.
True.
Antoine says, we talk about writing, we don't write. You mean as a community? You're being nitpicky. This man's annoying me. Okay, fine. It's a writing group. It's a writing neighborhood. A neighborhood of writers. You're going to be that way.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you are held accountable for, you hold yourself accountable. There's not necessarily an accountability group, although that can be part of some writing communities, but that's not here. Unless you want it to be, and then you can make your own.
The first rule of Write Club is you do not write about Write Club.
Sure, don't write about Write Club. That doesn't mean you don't write, period.
After Paul excommunicates you, he does unblock you on YouTube after he calms down, so it isn't that bad, chat. You have only been blocked when Terry told me to block you. That is the only time you have been blocked. And I think Terry actually hit the block button by mistake on somebody else at some point. And we had the same problem, so...
Yeah, but they haven't come back, so I don't care.
Anyway.
So what are some of the rules? What are some of the rules in writing communities that are common?
Hopefully don't be a dick is one of them.
Right.
Probably hurtful critiques or name calling, things like that, or just expressions of unfocused anger on somebody's work because you don't agree with it. You could just say it's not for me and move the fuck on instead of, blasting the person that wrote it. So I would think that some form of that is going to be in there. So I think basically you're just going to have to look at what's going on with the writing group, see the kind of posts that are going up, and you can always quit as soon as you join. You may have to join in order to see whether or not it's toxic. Because if it's a closed group, you're not going to know anything until you actually join it and see what it is. Is it a good place to hang out, or is it a place that not only are you not going to get constructive advice, but you're going to have to see a lot of toxic bullshit in the process? And that's basically only something you can decide. But just because you join a group doesn't mean you can't quit it.
Right.
CJR says, sometimes there are divides between those who want to sell their works and those who tinker. Not sure if it's a rule, but it's a vibe. Wow.
It's true, though. I think
it is. It is.
And depending upon, I think it depends on your pace in your writing. And you can be a serious writer and it not be your full-time gig, not be your part-time gig. I'm a great example of that. I'm a writer. I write stuff, but I do not spend nearly the amount of time that most people in our DRS writing community spend writing.
Mm.
But and at this point, I don't know nearly, I don't have the wealth of knowledge when it comes to actually publishing something independently, because that's not something I've ever done personally. And sales figures, ads, no. That's not where I am. But in this particular community, that doesn't matter. In others, it would not be a good fit. And I think that's part of it. You need to, if you're looking for a writing community, it's often the more, I don't want to say professional. It's the more, I guess, sales oriented. Let me try that. A more sales oriented community that balances the creative side with the business side. That may be a better fit. It's not going to be a good fit for me right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
A professional writer will have different goals. That is a good point, Antoine. Mm-hmm. Somebody who's trying to make it their profession. This almost sounds, JR, like the literary versus genre people. Or genre versus literary people. That's what it almost sounds like to me. And those people exist. I've met them. I've commiserated with them. And then I just basically said, okay, fine, whatever. You're not going to improve. Move on. But those people's philosophy, I think, is born of idealism of some sort, which is fine. But yeah, they're going to have different goals. They may be one of those people who work on a single sentence for a month, trying to get it right. So I would say they're trying to be poets instead of, fiction authors or nonfiction authors or whatever you want to call it. Maybe author is even the wrong word, and writer is the wrong word as well. I don't know what the correct word is, and that's not a judgment. It's just the way it is.
Oh dear.
Did he go away?
The writing gods have
struck him down. Think! Heresy! They've taken him out.
Clearly. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think, is he back? Is he back?
Rogue! God damn it!
That's pretty much any writer, what went wrong? The cat. The cat went wrong.
The cat. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Fuck! Fuck! Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah.
Fuck.
All right. So, do we want to know what happened? Or shall we just assume?
I'm going to kill Rogue. That's what's going to happen. He decided to lay down on the Mac Mini and pulled a number of cords out in the process.
Oh, those cords are not necessary.
Yeah, apparently neither is my webcam.
Evidently, that is optional as well. He's like, I am a black cat. Therefore, they will just see a black square. That will be my contribution.
Okay, I am going to jump out of here for a minute. I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves. Because I am dead in the water here.
I don't even know what we could say, with Paul gone. I mean, the show's at an end. We should just sign off right now.
I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, dear. So, Terry, how many writing communities are you part of?
The Dead Robot Society. I used to be part of the one Dave Robinson was hosting, but he went along doing other things, and I really don't see any action there anymore. So I guess I'm not part of that.
Were you
I'm
part
still
of
a member, but nothing ever happens.
Right. What about the 20 books to 50K? Would you consider that a writing community?
They closed down that Facebook group when the ownership changed. I believe.
Okay. And then I think Craig did successful indie author?
Mm-hmm.
He transitioned over to
that. I don't know that I'm a member of that one. I've never been a big fan of writing groups per se, because I learned early on, I got some advice from Dean Wesley Smith and Christine Catherine Rush when I was doing their things. They said, beware of writing groups, because you're going to be there with people that really don't know a whole lot more than you do. It's unsuccessful people talking to other unsuccessful people and giving bad advice. And it's just a big old swirling mess of how do you know what's good advice and what's bad? And I said, I can see the logic of that.
That is fantastic advice. And it mirrors a lot of what I've heard from folks in narrator circles about narrator communities. And it's absolutely true. One of the challenges with groups is that once you get to a certain level, you need someone who knows more than you do. You need someone who has had a little more experience, who's been in the game longer, and can help you, explore your craft and level up. But at a certain point, that's not something that you find within a community. It's something that you find in like one-on-one coaching or in a mastermind group. And it's, it comes down to knowing what you want out of the community. But yeah, the whole being cautious of writing groups that turn into echo chambers and that don't help you elevate what you're doing. Yeah.
Rowdy says problem with writing groups is when someone gets successful, they tend to move on.
True.
It can.
There is a ceiling in most writing groups, and if they stay, is it their ego that's letting them stay because they want to feel that they are better than the people that are there? And does their advice then become toxic because they're feeding their own ego rather than trying to help the community? And that's happened in places too. Any bad thing you can imagine happening has indeed happened in some writing group or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. And it's a lot of people who level up don't stay because the boundaries aren't there, and they're expected to give so much back and to be that quote unquote authority. And they don't have to do it. Would it be nice? Absolutely. But if you are being taken advantage of and it's keeping you from writing, it's not a good fit.
And there goes his camera again.
Yep.
There he's
and
back.
He's back.
Sorry about that, folks.
Get off podcast, Dad. Get off podcast.
I threw him out of here again. He's done. He's gone. He's at the door trying to get out. Maybe.
Says, Dad, open the door. Let me out. I want to get out now.
Rick is in our writing group, and he's way more successful than the rest of us.
Yes, but all he does is look at the JR and go, this is shit. It's not much writing advice, really.
So Rick's saying the problem with most indie writing groups is that they repeat as gospel strategies that worked 6 to 7 years ago and don't realize that those don't work anymore. And that's a very real thing. It's hard to keep writing and keep your finger on the pulse of everything that's changing. So
staying abreast of it is another trick, and also finding. I think by staying abreast of what's going on, you're also going to figure out that maybe the group you're in isn't as constructive as another group could be. You're going to have to basically figure that out by talking to people, and you need to ask yourself, why do you want to be in a community?
Yeah.
In the first place,
yeah,
what do you expect to get out of it? What are you going to contribute? And well, I think once you ask those questions of yourself, I think that will help you find the right group, whatever that is.
And I think another thing is, what are you going to learn from that group? If you feel that if you feel that you've exhausted what you can possibly learn, then it's what can you contribute? Are you willing to contribute? And to not feel bad about either stepping away or just not checking in as often, because you need to be in a community that fits where you are in your writing journey. So, JR, it's the accountability of checking in every week with words written, goals going forward, and then we chat on various writing topics. The checking in has value on its own, though. Absolutely. Let it be said that, JR, you were absolutely right on this topic. We'll just timestamp it right now. But
that's right.
Yeah,
even a stop clock is right twice a day.
There you go. But it's, for a lot of writing communities, it's that accountability. It's that check-in. And I mean, not everybody needs that. I find that particularly valuable. Just to say, oh yeah, I did this.
Yeah, I'm about ready to tell my wife, you need to come home every day when you come home from work and ask me what I've done. So try and kick my ass in gear, get over some issues that are going on right now. Even a blind squirrel gets a nut once in a while.
Ooh. Save that for After Dark.
Squirrel porn, man. Oh, Rick, why'd you have to go there? Come on. Come on.
Wow. Wow.
Well, what do you think, chat? Sounds like y'all have had more experience with with the groups even than probably some of us have.
Yeah,
as far as,
are there certain
Go ahead.
things that happen in the DRS community that don't happen in others? I can think
Sure.
of one thing. So a lot of writing communities don't allow self-promo. We do. We have a channel for it.
Yes, we do. There's a reason for that.
What is that reason?
Well, we want everybody to be successful, and we want everybody among the community to know somebody's working on something, and figure out if it's something you want to read, and also that means you can ask the author questions about their book.
There you go.
I mean, that can be helpful material and go on there. So, let's see, DRS has an excellent meme garden.
We do. We do.
Yes, and I'm very happy with the live channel is full of sloths. As opposed to the After Dark channel, which is already full of other stuff.
Already? I just posted one thing in there.
Well, I'm the king of exaggeration. So I would say you need to ask those questions. Why do you want to be there? And then if you do want to be there, find out what the etiquette is. Don't go past it. If you get pissed off with somebody, just block them and move the fuck on. Probably the best way to go about it. And other than that, I don't really have much else.
I'd say lurk. Lurk for a while before you speak up so you can learn the flavor, the vibe of the community.
Yeah,
And
I
you
don't ever want to be the
really-
Kool-Aid man, go, oh yeah, burst through the walls and start, just smacking people in the head. That's not exactly something I want to do.
Yeah, there's some things, and this is more for Facebook groups rather than Discord or other communities, but sometimes people allow anonymous posts, sometimes they don't. And if you do use that, be mindful of it. One group that I'm in, they disallowed that, but it's because that group is vetted, and there are a lot of rules and requirements for it, but that's so that people feel safe. And the idea is that it shouldn't need to be anonymous. It's a safe space for folks to ask certain questions about narration and get those answers without fear of judgment. So
I don't think you should ever fear judgment, or have to fear judgment, I should say.
tell that to the brain weasels.
Jared says, in addition to the self-promo, you guys let other authors pitch members for podcast interviews. I don't think I could have found guests in other groups, but it comes back wanting us all to succeed. Yeah. I mean, this is a small podcast, folks. We have 500-600 listeners. And then we have, 24 to 48 of you that show up and either go into chat or watch the show afterwards. We're pretty small potatoes. And
However, if you want to promote, go right ahead.
Yeah, you want to promote it.
Share the
We'd
links,
love
let me know, that'd be great.
But I'm proud of the community we built, even if it's small. So, and I want to thank y'all for being part of the community and helping make it work. So, thank you. Even you, JR. Thank you. James says, where else could we ask our burning questions about sloth love life? In the After Dark channel. Make it happen.
Clearly. Clearly.
Okay, the Jim Jones Kool-Aid man, you had to go there. You just had to go there. Hopeless. Yeah, and if there's a problem on the Discord server, you just need to reach out to an admin. I'm approachable. I promise.
Yes.
I promise. Well, chat, what else you got for us? And we all fall down. Aw, thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Reach out to the admin so they can have a laugh at your expense. What? You've obviously met some
Everybody
bad
needs
admins.
humor.
I remember back in the days when I was a sysop for the BBS I was running. Man, you would get some weird ass requests. You would just get some strange UFO things sent to you every now and then by somebody who just found your BBS and has no idea what it is, didn't read the rule book, and immediately starts going away. It's absolutely funny. Absolutely love it. That was back when I was 20. After you've taken time away from a story because of life reasons, how do you get back into the vibe of the story in an expeditious manner? Read what you wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Even reading it aloud, because you just basically doing that or typing along with it will get your head back in that space, because your fingers and your phrasing will remember that where you were and fall into place.
Or if you have notes, go back and look at your notes. If you have an outline, go back and look at your outline. I mean, that's one of the reasons why, and I know it's going to sound silly, but if you have a playlist, if you have music, if there's, I highly doubt anybody in this particular audience would do this. If you have a Pinterest board for inspiration, anything that helps you get back into things. I have a writing playlist, and if I need to get back into something, that's where I go. But
I've had that problem too, JR. And I've had to jump into books, and I'm gonna have, after I finish this current workload of crap that I got to get out of. I've got to jump back into Track 9. I've got to jump back into Signal Decay and finish those puppies up. And I don't know how the hell I'm going to do it. I really don't, because I've been away from Track 9 for 2 years, and I've been away from Signal Decay off and on for 2 years as well. So it's just, some books just do not want to be birthed.
yeah,
but I'll get back to them.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar, Pinterest is technically it's social media. It is kind of it has a search thing, but it's very visual. I use it to find crochet stuff. I use it to find recipes. But you just use it for images and articles, and you can create themes, and then based upon what your boards are. So literally imagine just like a cork board, and you're just sticking stuff up. But if you're a visual person, it's very helpful.
Yeah.
And people have made boards, like they'll do inspiration boards for characters. So what they think certain characters look like, clothing choices. And it's another potential tool to use, and it can be helpful if visual, auditory, what have you.
Yeah, I would always try and leave myself some breadcrumbs, so that I think that's one of the main reasons I do outline the way I do, is I'm basically leaving breadcrumbs in case I get interrupted, so I can go back and remember where the fuck I was going. Because otherwise I'll forget. Otherwise, I got so many books in my head and trying to do so many things, I will forget what that current book has. So I just kind of leave breadcrumbs and then jump back in there. Oh, James, here we go with the memes again. Antoine, I have bad news for you. I think I already killed you in Extinction. I may have to kill you again. Maybe I'll make you a main character one of these days. It could happen.
Ooh, look at that.
Use your name, but not your likeness. It'll be hilarious. I'm going to shut up now. Anyway.
Uh-oh. Spoilers.
Rick says, Call of Duty, Black Sysops. If you know what a sysop is, you're too old.
I'm sorry, I'm just wondering what does the gameplay on that look like?
The gameplay on what now?
On that, Call of Duty Black Sysops, what does the gameplay on that look like? What are you actually doing? You know,
I don't know. I don't know. Looking at the console, seeing what these bozos have called into your computer are doing. Yeah, that's what you do. And you'd be sitting there dressed up in your ninja kit and everything else with your flask of coffee and my carton of cigarettes, just chaining away while I'm watching people on the server, and then basically finding the ones that's just misbehaving so I can go click and knock them out of there.
So it feels like that would be along the lines of like the truck driving simulations, like the bakery simulations. You're just sitting there monitoring little things until something huge happens, and then crap.
So
Something
how's
on
your
that.
husband's
I'm sure
interstellar
you can make that
logistics game going?
Then you get a what now?
How's her husband's interstellar logistics game going?
Oh, he stopped playing that.
Oh no!
We went back. We went back to our pandemic throwback to our date nights in college, which were pick a game. We're gonna play it through. We're gonna play it through to completion. And I'm directing everything with all of the walkthroughs so I can have the ending that I want. So it's like watching a very, very slow movie. So he booted up Dragon Age Inquisition again. Because he has yet to play through the whole thing with me. Meanwhile, I'm like, I could play Veilguard again for the 4th time. But I should be writing the stories. 8-bit gameplay.
We had 1-bit gameplay, and we were happy to have 1 bit. I'm kidding. That was 2-bit. That was 2-bit graphics.
No, 2-bit is dun 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 dun.
So there's a cheat code to make it 3D. Yeah, I believe that. You play Star UPS?
Not. I mean, kind of, sort of.
Oh my god.
It was not my jam of a game. I want story in my game, so.
Meanwhile, he's resource gobbling so he can get packages to where they need to go. Just asking. Not judging.
No,
just asking.
I have learned after 20-some years that as long as, we keep the programmer happy, if you want to do interstellar resource management because you've been coding and dealing with databases all day, be my guest. That's okay.
Paperboy with a car? No, Paperboy with a spaceship.
Yes.
I remember Paperboy. That was a badass game.
Yeah. It was.
It had the bicycle, the handles, and the whole 9 yards. Oh, it was a great arcade game.
Actually, I'm pretty sure we have that on the emulator that's in my
Yeah,
phone.
but it's not the same if you don't have
No,
that
it's
bulky
not.
controller that kind of moved, and half the time it wouldn't pick up that you were swiveling right, and so you get pissed off. And I think it was by design, so you'd shove in more quarters to get past the old man with the gun.
No, I think my two favorite arcade games were Street Fighter, just because why not, and then Rampage.
Rampage was fun.
Rampage was great.
I get this droid to Tatooine in 6 days, Dave. Make it happen. We got 6 days to get to Tatooine, half a pack of cigarettes, 2 beers, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it!
We're on a mission from God.
We're on a mission from somebody.
Yeah.
I never saw the Rampage movie, James.
I don't need to. I do not need my childhood. My childhood's already scarred enough. Let's not add more to it.
Unless I'm thinking Rampage was the game where you were like a creature or a person that became a creature, right? A big kaiju.
It was the
And
kaiju,
Rampage
and you
over
had
the
to
place.
climb up the buildings and punch things out, and then eat whatever the people left. They had tried to get, and they were always throwing things. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yes.
It was funny as hell. The movie was okay. All right, well. Oh, what did I watch I was going to tell you all about? Damn it. Man, I hate it when my brain does this. The movie's called Ash. Ash, A-S-H, and it's on Shudder right now. It's quite interesting, but I did not like the way they did what they did. But it's not a bad flick. But it is. It wasn't too bad. I would watch it just for ideas and to see how creepy the fucking spacesuits are. And I don't know if that's by design, but they are unsettling as shit when you start looking at them. So it's interesting. So I would go take a look at that if you've got Shudder, or if there's. I think you can rent or lease it, whatever you want to call it, or buy it right now. But you should keep that one in your radar because it's an interesting watch.
Okay.
Interesting watch.
Well, the two that I watched recently, working on my Marvel catch up. I finally saw the Marvels. Terry, I thought of you immediately. Because have you seen it? Terry?
I have not.
You need to see it because did you see Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Okay, so the Flurkin goose,
Mm-hmm.
the one orange cat that has a brain cell and uses it very well because he's a cat, he's a Flurkin. There is a subplot with Goose, and
With what?
they are part, and Goose winds up being part of a really great solution, and I think you would really enjoy it.
It's on my list of things to do. I just haven't gotten around to it.
It's not the best MCU movie of the.
That's okay. I saw
ones.
Quantum Mania. It can't possibly might be much lower down than that.
Brave New World isn't much better.
Ouch.
And I wanted Wakanda Forever to be better, and it wasn't. A lot of these movies that the finale is not living up. I think the only one where the finale lived up really well was Shang-Chi. But that was just.
And they haven't repeated it. Oh my God! It was like the best movie ever.
Morris. I finally understood the love of Morris. And I got
what is the actress's name? The singer actress's name. What is her name?
In Shang-Chi?
I can't remember.
She's not a singer. You think Aquafina?
I thought she was a singer. Aquafina, yeah. I thought she was a singer and an actress.
Maybe. I only know her as an actress because she was also she was in Nora from Queens, and she was in Crazy Rich Asians, and she was in Ocean's 8. She had a great role in Ocean's 8. But yeah, you would appreciate the Marvels and the Goose subplot and solutions.
Yeah, she's a rapper.
Oh,
she was a rapper before she became this, and that's where I knew her from. I was like, okay, she's making quite the jump there, going from being a rapper to being an actress.
She's got marvelous comedic timing. Marvelous comedic timing.
Queen Latifah did it.
Sure.
Ice Cube. Ice T.
I love her so much. Oh. Yeah. And no, just she's.
Are you having a girl crush? What's going on here?
Yes. I have had a girl crush on Queen Latifah for forever. Like, just the voice, the acting, the swagger. Love her. And she killed it in the movie version of Chicago. Just beautiful, rich voice. Anyway, but the other movie that I saw, which is total popcorn for those who, for the DRS folks who enjoy a good anime, K-pop Demon Hunters is worth it. It is popcorn. The soundtrack is fantastic. It's great. It is 90 minutes where you can turn your brain off and just straight up enjoy it.
Okay.
It's catchy as hell too.
I saw that come up in the Netflix feed and went, what in the ever-loving fucking hell is this? And I meant to ask you about it, so
there we go. It is delightful. It's not a tongue-in-cheek take on K-pop idols. A lot of it's very sincere, and it's not parodied. And there's a lot of really neat Korean mythos that goes into the creation of the characters. But the other thing that got brought up is it's a very sincere take on teenage girl characters. So if that's something that you're writing and you're like, how do they act? How do they interact? And it's like in the, I'd say anything after 2000. And that's 25 years now. I feel really, really old. But in terms of like authentic dialogue and interaction and the quick switch of emotions, that, and then the Disney movie Red, they're both really good at that. And it got compared to it because the way that the core group of girl characters interacts with each other and talks with each other, it's very authentic. It is very much, ooh, squirrel, but then coming back together and being supportive. But it's good. It's a fun study. And it's good.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the advice
Sorry.
on that one.
I won't.
It's all right. Well, if you have a question or comment about this episode, you can leave a comment on the YouTube where you found this, or the podcast where you found this. You can go up to our website at deadrobotsociety.com and punch that contact button and send us an email and let us know what you're thinking. And speaking of that, if you want to find us, you can find us at I'm losing my mind. YouTube.com/DRS Podcast, where we are live every Saturday at 3 p.m. CST. Well, every Saturday except for the occasional one. Like and subscribe so you know when we're live. And if you want to join our community, and why would you? You can find our Discord link in the show notes. Come by and say hi. We'd love to have you. And if you want to support the show, you can find us at God, I'm losing my mind today. Patreon.com/DRS Podcast and buymeacoffee.com/DRS Podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive live shows like the one that's coming up in 8 minutes. And at the $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Juan Valentin, James Terrell, Antoine Batts, Tony L. Joy, Rick Shaw, Lisa Slack, and Tim Niederreiter. Thank you to all of our patrons for making this show possible. And with that, it is time for us to get the heck out of here. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for, chatting this up and etc. Boy, that was probably the wrong way to say that. Thanks for your comments in chat. And don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like, no, don't look at me like that. I know I've fucked up this outro so bad. Anyway, you'll have to forgive me. I'm allowed one every once in a while, I think.
Like every week.
Shut up. So with that, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And if you're coming to After Dark, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Bring
Bye,
your
folks.
souls.
Yeah, sure.